think a lot of people are currently a little bit freaked out by Facebook and Facebook ads because of all their issues, but it still is really the best place to find your ideal client because you can really narrow down and target the people you want to see your products or services.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nuske and today I have a very special guest with us. She is a digital marketer, she's a Facebook ads strategist, and she primarily works with female entrepreneurs and coaches. Welcome to the show, Melody Spencer. How are you, Melody?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. It's wonderful to spend some time with you. We were just talking a little bit earlier about the differences in time zones, and often this is one of the challenges with the online space doing podcast shows. So what's been happening, Melody?
Yeah, so I guess I could give a little background about who I am for you guys. I have been in the digital marketing world for, I guess 8 years. But I've been working for myself for the past 6 years, and I started out doing social media management and like content creation, and slowly in the past year and a half, 2 years, I've switched my focus to just doing marketing strategy and Facebook ads because I love doing those two things. They kind of combine, I say, my nerdy side and my creative side. So yeah, I just love what I do, and I'm a recent podcast host, which I'm also really into that. It's so much fun. I love talking to people, hearing their stories, sharing their hearts. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, I noticed that you when you left the corporate world, which is a very common story that we hear, is that you were feeling a little bit stuck and didn't have much direction, a little bit uninspired, and you wanted to change. Tell us that pivotal moment, that that tangent where you said enough's enough. What was the breaking moment for you?
Yeah, the breaking moment really came for me when that year my grandmother passed away, and I had to go to her funeral, and my job, I was an executive assistant at an insurance company, and my boss did not want to let me go. I mean, she knew I needed to go to see family, but I ended up getting stuck in a snowstorm.
Wow.
So I was 4 days late getting back because the airports were closed, and it was just a mess.
Yeah.
So when I got back, she was angry with me for having not been there. I was like,
wow.
My grandmother died.
Yeah, hello.
And hello, I can't do anything about that. I can't change the weather.
No.
And it was just it went from there. It started to disintegrate, and I realized I'm wasting so much of my life in a job that I hate. And I just keep counting down the days until I have vacation and I can leave and I can go, not think about work. And I'm like, that's no way to spend my life.
Did you... Sorry, go ahead.
No, so that was just kind of the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I wonder, was it hard to make the leap away from, I suspect, a relatively stable income to this unknown called entrepreneurship?
Well, I was just talking about that with my husband this morning, because we were saying, I think it would be totally different if you were a single person and you took the leap. But having another income was very helpful because I'll be honest, when I first started, I did not make very much money at all because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I knew what I was doing in terms of marketing, but I had never been my own boss. I didn't know how to, navigate the online world, the whole freelance world. So I made a lot of mistakes and I really undercharged myself. So I think it would be totally different now if I was single versus being married. I can't imagine.
It'd be very difficult, and that's one of the takeaways for everybody on the call today. And know that there will be struggles along the way, but there are people around you that you can talk with, like Melody, who have already walked the path, I guess you'd say, Melody.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Whenever I meet new entrepreneurs, I'm like, okay, don't do this and this and this and this. Please don't make these mistakes.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You can help others fast track their way to results. Now, your background is obviously Facebook ads and digital marketing. Marketing. Tell us a little bit about Facebook ads and that ecosystem.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are currently a little bit freaked out by Facebook and Facebook ads because of all their issues, but it still is really the best place to find your ideal client because
Hmm.
you can really narrow down and target down the people you want to see your products or services to such a small degree that
Hmm.
it's just like nitty gritty. Like, it's just crazy. It's a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
um, how detailed you can get, but it's also really fascinating from a marketing nerd perspective.
Is that something that you simplify for your clients so that they don't become overwhelmed? How do you do that?
Yes. So I have them talk to me first about who their ideal client is,
Hmm.
and I tell them to think about it as if their client or customer is a friend. So what would she wear? What would she drive? How much money would she make? What interest would she have? That kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then I can take that information and turn it into demographic and psychographic information to use in ads to get their perfect client seeing their products or services.
Yeah, I love Facebook. It's one of those love-hate relationships, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And you see the new Messenger component where you can touch base with somebody through Messenger. How does that part actually work for a client that's doing Facebook ads? Is it relevant for them to be doing that and using the Messenger feature?
Yeah, so I am still kind of playing around with the whole messenger bot
Mm-hmm.
feature
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's really cool, and I think that's going to become more important in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think Facebook just needs to get over this hurdle of the data breaches and
Yes.
people being scared. A lot of people think, oh, Facebook's going to go away. They're not
No.
going away.
No.
They're one of the biggest companies in the world. They're not leaving.
Yeah, and I suspect with the European Union GDPR, which is
Yeah.
the privacy laws and how people process your personal information, how is that impacting the way that you communicate with your clients?
Well, people are not really taking it nearly as seriously here in the States.
Hmm.
Um, I have just really been double checking with my people on my list
Mm-hmm.
to make sure they really want to be on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then I'm taking them off and they have an opportunity to get off the list. But I don't know. I suspect that maybe something like that will be coming to the States, but who knows? This world that we live in right now is so topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We look at Facebook ads and we think they're expensive. Is that the truth?
No. That's one of the biggest myths I have to uh, bust up for people
Mm.
is that it can be expensive, but if you're doing it well, it shouldn't be a huge expense. You should be getting a good return on your investment to make up for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also do great work with a small budget. You don't have to spend millions of dollars to get any kind of return.
Mm-hmm.
I've had amazing results with just, $200 a month.
Wow.
So it doesn't have to be expensive.
And what sort of daily traffic volumes would you expect to see for that monthly investment?
It really depends on many, many factors. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on, your goals, which objective you use, what your messaging looks like. But, I've gotten people, hundreds of clicks a day and thousands of visitors to their pages for as little as, $10 or $15 a day. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. People are just making it harder than it should be.
Yeah, humans tend to have that ability, don't they?
Yep.
They overcomplicate the simple. But when you say sending traffic, is this traffic that clicks through and actually does something, or is it just tire kickers as we call them?
It kind of depends because if you have the pixel installed on your web page or your landing page, which everybody should,
Mm-hmm.
then if someone visits your page and they don't opt in for whatever reason or take whatever action you're tracking, you could always retarget your ad to them. So I don't really think that it's a waste
Mm-hmm.
because either way, people are going to see your ad and probably interact with you because you know they were interested enough in you to go to your website or your landing page. They just maybe ran into an issue for some reason, and you can recapture those people later.
So is it important for somebody who's doing Facebook marketing to have their own online presence through I don't know, a WordPress website or something like that, or they don't need that? Or
Yes.
it is? Okay.
No. Oh, you definitely need some kind of online presence. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can market yourself with just Facebook or just LinkedIn or, just Instagram, but I think it's really important to have a website or a blog that's your home base that people go to kind of learn more about you, get more knowledge, just kind of solidify your expertise a little bit rather than just social profiles.
I also heard the importance of a website being that you get to own the race course rather than
Yep.
playing on Facebook who owns
Mm-hmm.
their race course. Melody, I just wonder when we look at the Facebook ecosystem, do you have any restrictions on who you can market to, or is it a global audience that you have a reach over?
Yeah, you can definitely work with anybody. Again, for the customer, it depends on what their target demographic looks like. If they're trying to just reach people in the States or reach people all over, I run my ads to people all over the world. So I usually target um, the States, the UK,
Mm-hmm.
Australia, Canada. So it kind of just depends on what their target client looks like.
Right. When we talk about Facebook ad strategy, what do you do for your clients when they first sit in front of you or online or on a call or whatever? What's the process that you take them through?
First, I have them come up with a strategy document. I either send them the template or I help them do it. So we'll look at what they're currently doing and we'll audit that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll audit what their competitors are doing and then what their influencers are doing or the people they look up to in business. And we'll kind of compare all that data and go from there and figure out what they need to do. Is it setting up certain platforms? Is it doing a more intense content strategy? Is it, utilizing Facebook Live? Like, there's so many different components.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we have that figured out, we'll break that into goals. So, yearly goals, long-term goals, monthly goals, that type of thing. Because I like to have those goals in front of me as the consultant to tick those off as we go along and say, okay, we got to this point now. Let's re-strategize and rethink about what our next plan of action is.
And so you can literally take them down the path and it helps you stay on track.
Yes, which I'm all about that. I'm super organized. So
So, are there times where, do you have alliances with other providers to help people if they don't have a website? Because they may obviously come to you and they don't have all those necessary resources. All they know is that, hey, I want to do Facebook ads, but I need somebody to help, and they come to you. Do you have relationships that can help them build websites and things like that?
yeah, I do. I'm lucky to be in relationship with a lot of amazing entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So I always have a list of people ready to go if they want something that I don't provide. I always try to do everything I can, but I'm not a web designer,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I always point them towards other people if they need that. But usually I am pretty picky about who I work with,
Yeah.
so they usually have websites already.
Yeah, so that's part of your, I guess, your vetting process before they get a foot in the door, so to speak.
Yes.
I'd love to talk about video, Facebook Live, because video is omnipresent nowadays, and it seems to be growing at a steady rate. What's your take on video, and how important is it for people to be using in their business?
It is an amazing way to get organic traffic on your Facebook page. and on your Facebook profile and in groups. You know, I'll be honest, I did not love doing it for the longest time. I just went back on Friday actually and watched my first Facebook Live that I did back in like September or October. And then I compared it to the one I did on last Monday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, am I even the same person? My energy was different. Like the way I sat was different. Like it was like looking at a different person, which was nuts. So it really is all about confidence. So many people are scared about being on video. But I just like to think of it as like talking to a friend.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking to the people in your quote unquote tribe, like your Facebook group or people you're already comfortable with, they're there to talk to you. They're there to learn from you. So it's not scary. It's not like you're talking to, you know, millions of people.
So there's the takeaway for beginner entrepreneurs and existing small to medium business owners, which is essentially our audience, Melody, that you know, this is all about confidence and taking that first step, turning that camera on, and obviously looking back, your first one is not necessarily going to be your best best one. So yeah, if you come to accept that, it'll be far easier. Now, with the Facebook Live videos, do they get stored and made available in your account somewhere, just like they would in YouTube Live videos?
So they are saved to your page if you mark them as you want them to be saved. So you've got to be careful. Once you do it, it'll come up with a little page that says like, oh, do you want to share and save this video to your profile or your page? And you have to say that or it's just going to go away into the void. So make sure you do that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I thought. I was always wondering about that. Well, it would be pointless to create this wonderful resource, this training tool, and have it go away.
Yeah, and there, you know, for a while you couldn't download your own videos. But I just found an app, which may not be technically legal. I don't know. There's an app you can get on your phone to download your videos and then save them. So you could, you know, put them on YouTube. You could put them in your email newsletter, you know, whatever. You could put them in different places so it's not just on Facebook, which is a good idea, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Storage in multiple locations now. I'd love to talk, Melody, a little bit about the process in terms of Facebook ads and the duration. How long does it take from the moment somebody meets you to the time that they can see results with Facebook ads?
So all of my done-for-you services are 3 months or 6 months because I really think, one, let me tell your listeners, Facebook ads are not magic. No. I'm not Harry Potter. I cannot perform overnight magic like some people think. It really does take time and testing and tweaking and optimizing, which is fun for me, but a headache for most other people who that's not their zone of genius. So yeah, I would say, so the first testing phase usually takes 1 to 2 weeks. But that's after we've come up with a strategy, put together your audiences, come up with several different headlines and copy and images, and so that's a whole several week process. Then we put up the ads in split test form, test those for 1 to 2 weeks, then figure out what's working or what's not working, and then put the full budget towards the ones that are doing the best. And then you see what happens from there.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It really, really is.
I know that with images, there's a certain amount of percentage of an image that has to be filled with image and not text, and then there's all these other variables and policies behind Facebook ads. Now, this is where Melody can reduce your stress by taking that away from you. The last time I looked at that interface, it was quite complex. Has it been simplified at all since a couple of years ago?
Yes and no. They keep adding things, but they keep trying to simplify them too. So they've taken, they used to have two different interfaces. So they would have Ads Manager and they would have, oh gosh, what was it called? Power something.
Power Editor?
Yeah, Power Editor.
Mm-hmm.
So they combined the two recently.
Mm.
And that's made it a little bit better, but still a little bit clunky as they kind of mix those two together. So hopefully they'll continue to make it a little bit more user-friendly, but it's still a little annoying. And they are always doing something to it, and something is always breaking.
Is there a particular industry and market that does better with Facebook ads than others? Is there a preference there?
I mean, I think that always, product-based companies are going to do really well with Facebook ads because, it's so easy to put up an ad for a t-shirt or a book or something like that, especially all of those drop shipping companies like that. I see those ads, I probably see like 15 or so a day just on Instagram of drop shipping clothing companies. So, e-commerce is always going to do well, but I really think ads are for everybody. It's just how you set up the ads, how you do your messaging, and the kind of story you tell in your ad.
Yeah. And when you're using Facebook, this has to be remembered that they're there to sell adverts and give you a service that allows you to socially interact. With that, Melody, do you think it's important to create your own group as part of your Facebook ads marketing strategy?
Groups have exploded in the past year, and they're great, but you need to really, again, like with anything else, you need to be really strategic about that.
Yeah.
Don't just have the same group that everybody else has. I feel like I'm in so many Facebook groups, and so many of them are the same.
Yeah.
So be original, do something different, and then be really consistent with your content and with trying to get people to interact, because that's where the magic of groups happen. If you just kind of let it grow dormant, which I'll be honest, that's the group that I have has kind of died because I just lost interest in it.
Yeah.
And I'm relaunching one for my podcast because that's what I'm excited about now. So if your energy is excited towards a group, then go towards that.
We see this is about that, if we read between the lines, this is about that persistence and consistency when using these tools, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
So Melody, if people want to work with you and they want to learn more about what you can do for their business, where can they find you?
Yeah, so my website is swiftlysocial.com. So on there you'll find about me, you'll find about my services, you'll find my blog, my podcast is on there, all my social media channels. So I would love to talk with you, and I offer free 30-minute calls, so I'd love to chat and see if I can help you.
Melody, it's been a wonderful call, and you're a pleasure to spend some time with. Thanks for coming on the My Future Business show today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've loved it.
It's been fun having you on the call with us today. Now click on that big red subscribe button and make sure you leave us a comment, share us with your friends, and join the growing list of leading entrepreneurs who have enjoyed their time on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews.